Your nails are so pretty.
Thank you. I did them myself.
I love that color. You're so Christmassy.
I know. I think I'm going to redo them, though, for Christmas because I've already chipped this one.
Yeah, sounds about right. I painted my nails last week and had them painted for like 4 days and couldn't do it anymore. Had to take it off.
Well, I used the gel and I cured them, thinking...
Oh, I need to come over. You can do my nails.
Yeah. And I thought, and we can make a YouTube video about it.
Okay.
I've already recorded the first one, but I'm starting a new YouTube series called
nails?
Doing All of My Hobbies that I bought all of the things for and have not done since.
You're a genius.
Because I have so many hobbies.
You do have so many. And can I come over and you can just show me all the things?
Yeah.
And with wine. It'll be such a good experience.
Yeah.
You know?
I made...
one time each hobby.
Yeah. I just thought that was a good way to use my things.
Yeah.
That I haven't used in forever. And also...
bring you back to it. Make you just kind of like give you a decision on what you actually do like. And if you want to sell stuff and get rid of it or not.
Yeah. So I made... I haven't finished editing yet. But the one video I made is clay earrings. And I made a little snowman earrings.
I want to make clay earrings with you. That sounds like so much fun.
And then I wanted to make like at one point I bought that air dry clay because I see people make little dishes to hold like their rings and stuff. Or cigarette ashtrays. I don't smoke cigarettes, but you know, it could be cute. Welcome back to the... I almost said this is unfortunate. Sorry. Welcome back to the podcast. That's Unfortunate. Let me get it right. Hold on.
Welcome back to the That's Unfortunate podcast.
Thank you. I needed that. My name is Torrie, and this is Courtney, and we're having mimosas.
Woo!
Because it's winter break.
It is winter break. Oh, I'm so excited.
I have a plethora of things to talk about today.
Good.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
If I ever say a word that isn't right, tell me.
Okay. I feel like I have.
You have. But like sometimes I think you feel bad for me and you don't. You just let me have it.
Well, one time you said something and I waited. Like I gave you a minute because I didn't want to be rude and I don't want other people to be like, wow, Courtney is so rude. She corrects Torrie. Or just that I correct people in general because James told me one time that wasn't nice.
Oh.
And now I really think about it. And you know, I think that he is nicer than I am. And I think that he was raised in a nicer family than I was. I think that I'm not mean, but I think my family is way more sarcastic and mean to each other. So I'm just used to that dry humor and like I'm used to getting made fun of.
Well, there's so many of you.
And I have to retrain not to make fun of other people because sometimes I'll do it and it sounds like I'm making fun of somebody and I'm not.
That's just how
it just comes out
how
that
you
way.
grew up. Yeah. Sometimes I say words and like I know the word, but I'm not really super sure of its meaning. And so I'll just throw it in my sentence to spice it up.
Yeah.
And I do that sometimes.
It's fun. It's way more fun to make up words, to just add some flavor to your vocabulary.
So yeah, anything that I thought of over the week, I would just pull up my notes and write the thing.
That's so fun.
So some of this stuff is dumb.
That's okay.
But, you know.
I have something dumb to talk about too.
Perfect. As we should. So let's see. What do I want to start with? First of all, I just got a text message about 10 minutes ago. We can start there. It is from a number I don't know. And it says, Kelly, I'm making Asian food at home tomorrow. Would you like to try it? Like, yeah, actually. But I'm not Kelly.
Sounds spammy.
Sounds delicious.
It sounds like...
It could be. It's like an 805 number.
I don't even know what area code that is.
Me neither. But I thought that was funny.
That is funny. But I wonder, like, there's not a link on it, so how are they going to get to spam you, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's really somebody who just put it, like, one number in wrong, maybe. I don't know, but I hope
it's spam. And somehow, if you text them back, they'll be like, oh, well, I'm going to make food, but will you Venmo me? And send me your social for me to be able to make this food for you.
Man, speaking of, like, spammy things, I'm a part of this Blanco group, And I didn't even know what bunko was until 2 months ago, but it's just a little dice game. And I went on Wednesday, and the lady's house who hosted it, she had on her TV like Christmassy things because it was our Christmas whatever, and it was heavily AI. Like,
really?
It was like people like walking up to a big Christmas tree in a random town square thing, and there was a puppy at one point who looked
not normal,
not right. It was just clearly AI. And I just thought that was funny, and it just kept playing the same, like, clips on repeat. And then at one point, the lady next to me goes, "Oh, that's so pretty. I wonder where that is." And, like, bless her. But, like, that's how people get scammed.
Yeah.
Because people really believe that.
They really do believe it.
And, you know, she's older than me, so she's not super, like, I guess, like, knowledgeable of what AI is just yet. And I'm just like, ooh.
Scary.
Scary.
Because some of those AI things look very real.
Yeah, I've seen like an AI of like Jennifer Aniston asking for money. And I saw someone say like, if my grandma sees Jennifer Aniston on Facebook asking for money, she's going to send her money because it's Jennifer Aniston.
I don't think I would send money, but I would probably believe it. When I would be like, somebody with more money than me is going to send her money.
It looked really good. Like, it really looked like Jennifer Aniston.
But also sometimes those AI generated things is like a person that's like has one wonky eye and like their cheek is a little bit in the wrong place. Or they have 6 fingers.
Yeah, usually if you watch it long enough, you'll see something wrong happen and you're like, oh, okay. But
sometimes you don't.
Sometimes it's that good. I don't know. Speaking on our last episode, I told you that guy in that movie was Jake Paul.
Okay.
It was Logan Paul.
Oh.
I get them confused because I never really watched them on anything. I just know who they are.
Are they brothers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think one of them's younger. I guess Jake is. He's the one who just fought, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that. I didn't... Honestly, Jake Logan sounds like the same person to me.
Well, I'm sure if anybody listened and knew what I was talking about,
there's the correction, though. Yeah.
Not that it really
It
matters.
sounded like
They're
an
both
obscure movie that
maybe
not a lot of people have seen. It's okay.
But, and like, I didn't even look it up. I was just driving to work, and I was thinking about it. And I was like, wait a second.
Is that right?
That wasn't right. Sometimes. So I called, like, when I edit this, it's going to, like, be so bouncy from topic to topic. We'll get there. I had to call Spectrum the other day and get some services canceled.
Okay.
For the bakery.
Oh.
And this woman, and, like, I hate calling companies and stuff. It's the worst. You have to go through the automated system first before you actually get a person. The automated system's like, what can I do to help you? And then you say something and they're like, here are your options. Go back to main menu.
We're
Turn
sorry.
your phone off and
that
leave.
Isn't something that we do.
Yeah, it's just so dumb.
Say that again.
But I somehow, you know, I did the automated thing, and then this lady answered the phone. And she was my worst nightmare.
Oh, no.
She was like, hey, how are you? Very chipper. And I was like, oh, I'm good. And she was like, how was your Thanksgiving? Oh, so we're
friends.
I just really need to get my internet cut off. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to anybody on the phone. I kind of hate talking on the phone. So, like, much less you, I don't know you, girl from Ohio. And then I was like, oh, it was good. How about you? Because I'm trying to be polite. Oh, it was so good. Are you the type of person who cooks for everybody? Or do you go somewhere else where they cooked? And I'm like...
Do you think she gets paid by the minute of phone calls? And that's why?
Could be.
She's trying to keep you on the line.
She said... And then I was like, oh, you know, I go somewhere. I don't really do the cooking. And she's like, oh, okay, that's nice. How's your Wednesday going? Ma'am, can I just cut my internet off? And I was like, oh, it's going good. At this point, I'm not asking her response or, like, asking her questions
Yeah.
because I'm over this.
You're on the third question. That's enough.
Yeah, and she was like, okay, that's good. You know, I came into work this morning and it was raining. And I just couldn't believe it. I almost, like, it just ruined my hair, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Ruined my hair.
I'm like, oh, darn. Just waiting on her to ask, what can I do for you?
Uh-huh.
So I don't have to be like, oh, hey, yeah, fuck your rain. Can you cut my internet off? Like, just ask me what I need. And then she's like, oh my gosh, there's an 80s song playing in here. That's all they play is like 80s music. And it's that song that's like, turn around. And starts singing me the song. And I was like, this is revenge. Somebody's messing with me right now.
You called her, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like a prank call.
It was crazy. And those are just things that I could remember and I wrote down.
Right. So there was probably more.
There was more. And then she was like, what can I do for you? And then I told her and she's like, oh my gosh, you've got the right department. I love that, Linda. From Ohio.
Oh my gosh.
And then she did what I needed her to do and it was great. But
I'm so glad she didn't say, oh no, you have the wrong department and you had to go to another person. Mm-hmm. That would have been so tragic. Mm-hmm. It would have been unfortunate.
That whole conversation was unfortunate.
It sounds like it.
But, yeah.
I just am imagining, like, some middle-aged woman that those are her, that's her people time for the day.
Yeah. She was definitely a middle-aged woman, just by the sound of her. Mm-hmm. But she was so kind and nice, and I don't mean anything bad about Linda.
That's good she was so kind and nice, but that was a lot.
It was a lot. But, yeah. And then speaking on the revenge part of everything, you know, we talked about all those people, the party of 100 that came in.
Right.
I worked on Tuesday. And it was like all those 100 people came in again, but they sat at different tables. It wasn't really them, but...
Oh. But it just felt like it?
It was their vibe.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, did I say in that podcast where I worked and then it blew up on the internet and I didn't know about it and everybody came in here to mess with me? Because why are these people so terrible?
Why are they back? Why are we doing this again?
Yeah, and...
was there any...
They were asking for paper napkins. They were asking for straws.
No poop problems, though?
No poop problems, thankfully, but they were all... I thought to myself as I was, like, clearing plates, I'm like, this is karma.
Mm-hmm. Like, I complained about it too hard, and now... I don't think that's how karma works. I think you would actually have to do a bad thing and not just be, like, releasing conversationally something that sucked.
That's good.
That's how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. Because if that's how it is, then I'm fucked. Because I do complain.
That's okay. We all have to complain sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just part of life.
But I'm not doing anything in retaliation to the things that I'm complaining about.
Right.
Then I would, some karma could come my way.
Okay. Oh, by the way, we are doing book club. So
I will say, this book club that you started, this app, Fable, haven't heard of it. Sounds amazing. I looked it up and was going through all of it. I spent 20 minutes playing on this silly app, which is so much fun and so addictive. Mm-hmm. And then I added both of my sisters, 2 of my sisters of the 4 that I have, and like a high school friend that I barely talk to anymore, but I know she reads. So I was like, I know you like this. And then one of like my old dance teacher friends was like, you have to add this app. Yeah. Do you read books? I know you read books. Let's read books together.
Yeah.
And then it started up conversation with those people because then they were like, oh, you've read this? I've read that. I love this. I love that. Mm-hmm. Such a good app.
It is such a good app. And I used to use Goodreads.
Mm-hmm. I've never used Goodreads.
Well, it's the worst app ever imagined in the world. Or ever imagined. Like, it's just... There's not an easy way to, like, network on that app. And it's just... visually unappealing. Mm-hmm. It's just not a good app. So sorry to the creator of Goodreads, but it's so easy. Yeah. You could have made such a better app. And Fable is a lot better, so
you can add your Goodreads stuff to it.
Yeah, you can link it and it'll go over.
Which I don't have it, so I don't need to do that, but
which for a while on Goodreads I had no fear that anybody was going to see what I've been reading.
Right.
So I was logging all that smut that I was reading. And then I went over to Fable, and then it all went over there, and then I added some people on there, and it's so easy to see what your friends are reading. And I was like, let me go through here and get rid of some of that.
I don't think I care if people see what I've been reading. Like, you know, I've read those Ice Planet Barbarian books, and they're very smutty.
Yeah.
And my little sister asked me what I thought of them because she's read some of them. And you'd think, like, maybe a little sister, you don't want her to know that you read smutty things too, but it was fine. If my mom saw it, I would be like, yep, this is what I do.
Yeah,
Maybe not my Meemaw.
Right.
But I don't think she has an app.
But would Meemaw understand,
Smut?
the smut of it all?
No, she's holy.
Yeah, so she probably would never find out.
Even if she did, she would be like, aw, Courtney's reading a book about an alien.
Yeah.
Oh, she likes extraterrestrial. Oh, can we talk about aliens?
Yeah, we can. But before, this is the book.
That we're starting.
Phantasma.
Have you started it?
I have not. I almost did last night. But I couldn't focus. But I am going to start it this weekend. I was thinking hopefully we can be done by like January 15th. I don't know where that's going to fall on the timeline of us recording the episode about it, but
Yeah, that's a Wednesday, I think, so
maybe
right
we could
after.
record that Friday and then be posted by that Monday. That's the book. And we have a group on Fable if you want to join on Fable.
Woohoo.
Very fun.
Would you be cool if I invited other people to it, like
Sure.
in my personal life? Okay. I was thinking
Yeah,
about
anybody can join it. Yeah.
I was thinking about listening to it on audiobook on my drive to Texas for family time.
That's perfect, actually, because then,
James could be a part of it too,
yeah, he can discuss.
which would be so funny and so entertaining.
So, aliens.
Aliens. Yeah, I just, I've been thinking about the world a lot lately and about aliens because I've been watching an alien show. And then Ice Planet Barbarian. There's aliens in that.
Yeah.
I really want to get your take on how you feel about that. Aliens. Do you think they're real?
Yeah,
Do you
probably.
think there's other life forms
Has to be.
outside of our solar system?
Yeah, it has to be, because when I think about people and how people are peopling out here, like we've got minds and opinions and feelings and fingers, there has to be more life somewhere.
Right.
And then the solar system is galaxy?
I think,
We have a solar system.
yeah,
And then the galaxy is the big part.
is beyond.
Like, we can't see out there. There's life out there for sure.
Exactly.
I'm
like, we
hoping
can
that-
only see so far.
Yeah, I'm hoping like none of them ever come here. That's a little scary, unless they're tall, muscular, and blue
With a tail.
with a tail.
I think, and a spur.
And
I think in our lifetime, that won't happen. And I think potentially if aliens wanted to be here, then the government and everybody in office would say no thank you. Because I think it would just create mass hysteria, regardless of like whether they're nice or not. And maybe they have technology that's more advanced and they don't want us to know. Or maybe they're not as advanced. I don't know.
could be.
They're too far away.
I saw something on TikTok in passing. Didn't. It was one of those things I let come into my head and just run right out. It said that the aliens aren't in the sky like we thought, or in the space like we thought. They're actually in the ocean. Very
Yeah, there's a lot of ocean that hasn't been explored.
Yeah.
Because it's just so deep.
And there's
But with
some
that-
freaky creatures down there.
That wouldn't be an alien.
Yeah, I know.
That would just be something we don't know about that's on our planet.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't do any further research. I heard that.
And you were like,
That could have been something somebody made up and pulled out of their ass. And I was just like, okay. Kept scrolling.
I fully believe there's probably some ocean life that's way down there that we don't know about.
Yeah, for sure.
What is it, like the Mariana Trench that's supposed to be one of the lowest points? Or the lowest point, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, I just wanted to know how you felt about aliens because I've asked you about ghosts. which you do believe in.
Yeah.
Same.
Mariana, I guess.
Mariana.
Yeah, it's the deepest oceanic trench on Earth. It has some measurements here, but that means nothing to me.
That's
I
fair.
have no sense of that.
Right, same.
But it is, over there near Japan, which I didn't know. I have never thought about it, about where it is, but there's Japan, China. Very interesting. I gotta stop reading about it. So before my laptop dies, I'm gonna tell you this, because I took some notes on it.
Oh, okay.
And because I want to make sure I got all the information correct.
Love that.
This segment is called Explain Something from the Internet.
We're back to the explaining segment.
Yes, because she's not on TikTok, and she doesn't know probably who these people are or anything about it at all. But it's very, very big on the TikTok machine at the moment. Let's see if you know who these people are. Brianna Chicken Fry, Grace O'Malley.
Nope.
All right, everybody's talking about it. There's other podcasts talking about it.
Wow.
So, these are two people that have been friends since they were 11.
Okay.
And in 2020, they, I think Brianna started a podcast.
Okay.
Called Plan Brie Uncut.
Cute.
And
clever name.
Yeah, and then Barstool Sports. Do you know who that is?
Mm-mm.
It is a company owned by Dave Portnoy, and there's like a whole lot of lore that comes along with that. But I don't know what all they do, but they got some podcasts. They own a bunch of podcasts, but they also have. It's something with sports.
Okay.
I'm not fully sure. That's like a whole other thing that I could explain to you.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it is.
I don't even know who that person is, so.
Which is so crazy. Full disclosure, I never listened to that podcast, the Plan Brie Uncut. I never listened to the other podcast, BFFs. I just know about all of this drama through TikTok.
Okay.
I do follow both Brianna and Grace. So, I'm not sure what side I take. But anyways. So, Barstool Sports picked up Brianna Chicken Fries. That's not actually her last name, but that's just her name on the internet. Anyways.
I wasn't going to comment on it. I was afraid to.
Picked up the podcast. She brought Grace on to the pod as her co-host. And then that started in 2020. But they've been friends since they were 11. So about a year ago, Brie starts dating Zach Bryan. You know Zach Bryan? He's a country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. There's one I know.
There's one you know.
But not well.
Yeah,
I don't know any of his music.
Yeah.
I know
to a couple songs.
One of his songs because the Lumineers are on it.
Yeah.
They did a song together. That's all I got, though.
They started dating about a year ago. And people who follow the podcast, Grace and Bree's podcast, they could kind of tell that they were off as friends, like something was up. And Bree was traveling with Zach, going on tour with him. So all the podcasts she was recording were virtual.
Oh.
And they could just tell something was weird. It wasn't like it used to be. And then people started making up these crazy theories about it.
I bet.
Of course, because it's TikTok. But also, sometimes friendship is weird. Sometimes. I've had friends that have gotten boyfriends and then they've just stopped talking to me. I've had friends that have gotten boyfriends that I don't like, so I pulled back. It happens.
Yeah.
And they're in their 20s or something, I think. So,
much more likely.
Yeah. And Zach and Bree broke up. This is in October. Zach posts on his Instagram that they broke up without her permission, and she was blindsided because they had agreed to keep it private for a little while so she could process. So he posted it. She wasn't ready. Then she had to post on the internet about her breakup, and she wasn't ready for that. So everybody was hating Zach Bryan at this point. Then Bree does a tell-all on Dave's podcast called BFFs, and that is a podcast with Dave, Bree, and dude that I can't remember his name right now. She wrote it down. She claims that Zach Bryan was being emotionally abusive, and she had turned a $12 million offer down from him not to speak about their relationship. And it turns out he has paid off his other exes as well. Because and then she told like a bunch of stories in that tell-all. I did listen to that podcast because I was curious.
Yeah.
I listened to it on the way home from work one night, and told a bunch of stuff he did, and like how he would scream at people, and like he never like physically abused her, but very much like based on what she said was emotionally abusive. So then for a short moment she became like a hero on the internet for speaking out about emotional abuse, and talked about how she lost herself in that year that they had been dating. So that kind of, and then there was, some other information about, kind of brought to light why her and Grace were struggling. All that happened, and then Grace and Bree did another episode, or some more like episodes. And like I said, I didn't watch this. So I don't know, but based on the information that was given to me from the internet, there's an episode where Bree was basically blaming Grace for being sexually assaulted as a teenager. And then one more episode aired after that, and that would be their last episode together. Like, a lot of people on the internet were mad at Bree now because she was seemingly blaming Grace for that happened to her. December comes and they haven't released any more episodes, so this is this now, month.
Up to date.
But Plain Bree was listed on Spotify Wrapped as one of the breakout creators, and Bree posted on her Instagram story, like screenshotted it and put it on her Instagram story, and said she was planning to bring back the podcast in some form. So then Grace took this as an announcement and posted on her Instagram story, which I have a screenshot of, and I will read to you. So this is what Grace said. For months I've been radio silent about the status of Plan Bree, and it has killed me to leave you guys hanging. The plan was for Brianna and me to put out a joint statement at the end of the podcast. You may have seen Brianna post that she's working on bringing back some version of Plan Bree to give you guys the much needed info you deserve. All I can say is that this was my first time hearing of this. I don't think I'll ever fully get into every aspect of how this came to be, but it should be said that although this was not a mutual decision, I'm realizing that in the grand scheme of things, it might actually end up being the right one. People online are basically saying that she just did the same thing to Grace that she claims Zach did to her about posting before she was ready. She's on the other podcast, BFFs, with Dave Portnoy, who's the owner of Barstool, which is a company that her and Grace both were working for, to talk about the friend breakup, and Bree tells her side. He claims to also give Grace the chance to be on also and tell her side, but she declined.
Fair.
Yeah. And then, have you ever heard of the podcast called Call Her Daddy? It's really big.
Maybe.
So it was owned, or like she started herself. I think her name's Alex, the girl who started it. And she had started this podcast. Dave, Barstool Sports, had picked it up.
Okay.
And then I think some more other drama happened with that. That could be a whole nother thing that you would have to like really deep dive into. But then she left Barstool, and then Spotify signed her. And like Spotify gave her like a millions of dollar deal to be with Spotify or whatever. So it was announced the other day that Grace will be joining the Unwell Network, presumably with her own podcast with Call Her Daddy. So I think the girl who owns Call Her Daddy has like a network that she owns now, called maybe the probably. Unwell or whatever.
It is difficult, like whenever you have a friend that's in an abusive, emotionally, physically, whatever it is, relationship, or even just in a relationship that like seems like something's off, even if you don't know the details, to go between like, okay, I'm going to speak up, but I'm also going to be there for you, or you're not going to say anything because maybe if you say something, they're just going to cut you out of their life too. And maybe you're worried about their safety. Yeah. It's so tough.
It is so tough. And then on the podcast that she was doing with Dave, she was saying that Grace behaved poorly while she was dating Zach, which was the beginning of the end of their friendship. She recalled telling Grace, I feel like because you hate Zach so much, you're forgetting to separate that I'm your best friend. You can hate him and be there for me. But she never was. So that's a big sticky situation. And like I said, I was never like, I've never listened to their podcast. I've just been consuming all the drama and stuff, which I followed them before all of this, because there would be podcast clips posted on TikTok that would be funny. So like, I knew who they were, obviously, and there's clips of their podcast that I've liked, but
yeah, but it's hard to be somebody's best friend that's like not taking care of themselves. And
yeah,
like, if your best friend hates the person that you're with, that's a red flag. I had a relationship for a long time where everybody in my life didn't like him. Almost everybody. Like 95% of the people didn't like him. That was my red flag. I should have moved on.
yeah,
That first time he met one of my closest friends, I should have immediately been like, oh, why do you not like him? And been more inquisitive about the person that knew me for, at that point, like 8 to 10 years, and asked her, oh, tell me all the things. Let me actually listen to you, instead of listening to the guy and being like, aw, she doesn't like you, but that's okay.
yeah,
And then stepping away from my friendship of that long, like, that's crazy. Why
Yeah.
did I do that?
yeah. It is hard. And I don't know, like, I don't know who's right in that situation. Like,
Yeah.
because, yeah.
Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong,
Nobody's right,
probably.
nobody's wrong.
Like,
And we're just seeing all the stuff that's on the internet. We're not seeing, like, what was
the real. Yeah.
real, what was, you know, and a lot of people, most people on the internet are on Grace's side, which sounds like the more correct side to be on. But, you know, you never know. And friendship breakups are hard. That shit hurts. So, like, I feel bad for both of them in that sense, that their friendship breakup is so public. So,
But not public enough that I knew about it.
no.
But
And I'm sure there's other people that don't know anything about it either.
there's probably
It's
a lot of people that don't know anything about
yeah,
it.
It's just like on my side of TikTok, on my algorithm, I'm getting it all. But like, how did you feel? Was that a good little recap I gave you?
Such a good recap.
I
Yeah.
feel like it was enough information, but it wasn't all of it.
I would watch a TV show based off of that.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Podcast users, creators, and then fucked up friendship, fucked up relationship. A music star.
Yeah.
I would watch that. I would binge it for sure.
I mean, it was her explaining like all the things that he would do was very interesting.
Well, she's out of that relationship now. Hopefully she can heal.
Yeah.
And then if they are not in their friendship anymore, hopefully they can heal separately. And maybe if it's meant to be, they'll come back together and be friends again someday.
Yeah. We'll see.
Or maybe there's just too much
Maybe.
between them and they need to make some new friends.
And that's your recap for the internet.
I loved it.
But man, mean people on the internet. Let's talk about that.
Oh no.
I posted I've been taking a lot of my things that I posted on TikTok and moving them over to YouTube because TikTok might get banned in January.
Oh, okay.
In the US. So I took some of those and I've just been dumping them over there, not thinking much about it. And then one of them got, I think the last time I looked, 45,000 views. And I've never gotten more than like 3,000
Okay.
on anything. And first, and it was just that silly trend of like that dude's voice and he's like, the fuck you guy. I don't know. It's just a stupid little trend that everybody was doing. And so I put my own spin on it, put it on there. And then first the comments were saying like, this trend is so stupid. I hate seeing this trend. I'm just seeing it all over my my For You page or whatever. And then I was like, that's not that bad. Like, I'll leave those up. It's fine. And then it started to say stuff like, whoever does this trend is lazy. Come up with your own content. And I was like, that is what a trend is.
That's the point.
That's the fucking point, my guy. But okay. And so I was like, whatever. And then people started commenting on my appearance. And I was like, dang. Thought we were going to
Be okay.
I thought I was going to be okay not deleting these, but they were saying things like, and it was definitely like an 11-year-old typing in the comments, and he was like, by the way, one of your eyes isn't straight. You have a lazy eye. And I was like, okay. And then I almost commented back to these people so many times because I was getting so many of these mean comments.
You should.
And I wanted to say, especially the ones about the trend, I just want to comment back and say, y'all seem like a lot of fun. Because, like,
I think you
chill
should.
out.
Because then you get more comments and then you get more interest in it. I think you should. I think you should comment on every single one you see and just be like, aw, thank you. Or the lazy eye one, just be like, matter of fact. You know? Because I think that's more fun. You know, I love it whenever I look at comments of something because I'm like watching a reel and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And then I have to click on the comments because what else do you do? And then there's just a series of unfortunate things in the comments, and then the original poster has commented too. And sometimes they say things that are so sassy back that they make me giggle, and then I love that person for that.
Nice.
Like, thank
Maybe
you
I
so
should have
much.
commented back.
Yeah. Next time.
Next time. I think I started deleting him at some
You
point.
don't have a lazy eye, by the way.
I know. I
Okay.
checked.
You checked. I do have a lazy eye. That is what my lack of vision in my left eye is. It's
Well,
considered a lazy eye, but just the muscle still works. But someday it might not work. And then I'm going to have to either get surgery so that the muscle still works so that my eyes aren't like all wonky, or just let it be. And then you'll look at me and you'll be like, use both eyes.
no. I did end up deleting them because I was like, this is getting a little, like, because other people were going into the comments and then they were fueling
Piggybacking
one another.
off of it, yeah.
And I was like, dang, I'll just delete them. And then someone said, you look like such and such. And they were referring to someone that I did not know who they were. And I was like, oh, well, that's not a mean one. I'll leave it up. I Googled that person. Terrible person.
Really?
Yeah, they were like somebody that was big on YouTube and they got canceled for like sexual assault or something. And I was like,
Do you look like that person?
I looked her up. The only thing that like we looked alike was she had a big nose and black hair. Like,
some people just look at somebody's hair color.
Look like her, but
you do look like somebody.
I did delete that
on TikTok that I don't know her name right now.
Oh,
it's Siri something.
Siri?
Yeah, she's a hairstylist. And she has, I feel like I've told you this before. She has a
Maybe you have.
page about it. And the first time I met you, I was like, you look like this person.
I'm sorry if I'm sniffling into the mic, by the way. My allergies are going. Oh, yeah, you have shown me this person before.
I do think you look like her in the best way possible.
She's very
I
pretty.
think she's so beautiful.
Yeah, she's really
I also think you're so beautiful. So
thank you.
You're welcome. Also, she has so many cool tattoos.
Yeah, she looked cool.
Man, I feel like you said I'm sniffling. You're sniffling, and now I'm sniffling.
I feel better today than I did yesterday.
That's good.
I had a headache, like I said, sinus headache, that was like from here into my jaw. And I was like, I'm over this. I was actually supposed to go to work yesterday. I did not. I considered that morning calling out, but I didn't because I never call out because I physically can't. It will bother me so bad.
Same.
So I was like, okay, fine. I'm just going to go to work. It's the last day after work this week. It'll be fine. And so I got up, got ready, did not wash my hair because I just couldn't be bothered.
That was the thing, yeah.
And I put my clothes on and drove. And on the way to town, I was like, I don't have any gas. I was just stop and get gas. This is the worst. And then I got a text message on my phone. It said, we have one cut. And I texted back immediately, I'll take it. And I turned my butt around. And I came right back
And you didn't
home.
have to get gas.
I didn't have to get gas.
You didn't have to wash your hair.
Yeah. And thankfully I was only like 10 minutes from the house.
Oh, that's so nice.
I have to drive an hour and a half to work.
That's so lucky.
So lucky.
The world was in your favor.
So I've only worked one day this week. And I've just been a degenerate because I don't feel good.
Yeah, you're allowed.
Sometimes when people talk to me, I don't hear what they're saying. And I think it's because I'm spending too much time trying to calculate how much eye contact I should give. that is the right amount of eye contact. And then after they finished talking, I realized to myself, I missed that. Because I was thinking like, oh, is this enough? And now I'm really thinking about looking at you.
Me too. We can't. Just don't look at each other for a few more minutes, okay?
Until we forget.
Yeah, I'm not going to forget.
That was something.
I also think about if I'm giving too much eye contact. And sometimes I purposefully give too much eye contact. Like, if I know the person that I'm talking to is potentially a person that is annoying, I will specifically make a lot of eye contact.
Oh, really?
And that makes people uncomfortable.
It does. It does.
And I'm not mad when I do it. I just keep going and live my life. And I just have so much a little bit of glee in my chest, you know? I think that it's a generational thing, though. Like, I think older people don't know that you're not supposed to forever make eye contact with the person that you're talking to. Mm-hmm. So anytime I talk to my grandparents, it's like permanent eye contact. And I can't be the first one to look away because I don't want to be disrespectful. Yeah. So I will just, like, stare into their eyes. I know exactly what my Mima's eyes look like just from memory because I've looked at them a lot from conversation.
I think I'm really bad at eye contact. Like, I would never look at anybody in the eyes again if I could. I don't know. It makes me nervous. And I remember being 15 or 16 and I got my first job. And I was thinking to myself, man, how am I going to work this job? I can't look at anybody in the eyes. This is going to be the worst. And I told myself, no, I'm just going to make myself. So when I got that job, I started practicing. When I would wait on customers, I would look at people in their eyes. Mm-hmm. And then eventually I obviously got better at it. But
right.
I still think about it sometimes, especially if I'm having a one-on-one conversation. I want them to know I'm engaged. Right. I'm here in this conversation.
But you're not so in the conversation.
I don't want them to get freaked out. So,
yeah.
And then I also...
So then you start to spiral inside about, oh no, is that too much? Oh no, I haven't looked at them one time in the past 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
And then I also hate when I'm like at a party or something and you know, everybody's had this moment where you start a story and no one's listening. And then like the other people keep having the conversation. If I'm around a person and that's happening to them, I will lock into that person. I'm like, I'm listening to you.
I don't know how this happens, but I feel like I am always the one that notices that person. I feel like I am hyper observant. And so I always am the only one. It happened at work yesterday. We did a gift exchange, like a Secret Santa type thing. And I hardly know any of these people because I've only been there for a couple of months. But one of the women got up and everybody was in the middle of a conversation about the last gift that was given. And it was a funny gift. So everybody is enthralled with the people next to them. And she's going, okay, well, my person. Nobody's listening to me. Okay, my person. And she's not getting any louder, which I thought was bizarre, but... get it, I guess. Third time, okay, well, my person. And I just looked around and everybody is still not looking. And so I did what you did. I just was like, I'm paying attention to you. Yeah. I can hear you. I promise. I'm listening, which doesn't matter because it wasn't for me. Like, I already got my gift. I don't know why I was so passionate about being the one person that was listening to her.
Yeah.
Eventually everybody started listening, and it was okay, and she gave her gift, and she didn't seem like she was crushed by it. I would be crushed.
Yeah.
I probably would have done something really annoying to get people to start listening to me.
Me too. Like, yell. I'll just be like, hey.
I would do like the...
Yeah, I hate it when that happens to me. So, like, if I'm noticing that person, or sometimes I'll be talking to someone or listening to someone, and someone will try to get my attention. I'll be like, hey, Torrie, to tell me something else. Mm-hmm. You know, especially at our parties when everybody's drinking and they're not really, they don't notice. I will ignore this person behind me because I'm like, no,
I'm in the middle of this.
I'm in the middle of this. When I finish here, then I'll be like, oh, what did you need? Or what do you want to say? Because I hate that.
I think maybe I ignore people more than I should. And it's like a thing I've decided to do as a solution to not being around people that I don't want to be around. Like if I'm leaving a room and the door is halfway shut and somebody says my name, I'm not going to respond to you. Even if I hear you, even if you actually need something, I don't care. My feet are out of the door. I am gone.
Case
and
closed.
I've done that a lot.
That's okay.
In my lifetime. A lot.
That's okay.
And recently, 'cause, I work with kids, like, if they need my attention, and I've vocalized many times, like, hey, if you need me, say, Miss Courtney, use your words, because that's a big thing in preschool, like, for them to use their words, and they do this. And they hit your leg a lot, and I don't want to be touched. I ignore them sometimes. Not for a long time, but I'll just, like, give it a minute to see if they're going to say my name after they tap me, if I'm not looking at them. And then if they don't say my name, I'll be like, next time, use your words. Don't touch me.
Yeah. And that's a good way to teach them. Just because sometimes kids are like, hey, and then they didn't need to tell you anything real.
No, they didn't.
They're just here to yap.
Yeah.
Which is...
I want them to have the attention that they need.
Yeah.
And I want them to receive whatever it is that they want. Like if they have to go to the bathroom or they want more ketchup or whatever it is that they want. But I also want to be told in like a respectful way. And how else do they learn?
That's true.
I don't know. That gift exchange at work. Somebody was gifted lingerie at a preschool.
Oh.
So there's like 24 people that work there. One man out of all of us. Okay. Which, like, amazing. He seems super great. I've had, like, one conversation with him. Actually, I talked to him today because I parked in his spot and I didn't realize. My bad. Oopsies. But, okay, so she's gifted lingerie. And the person that gifted it to her, like, wrote a note on it that said, like, here's your gift. I love you, something. And so she reads her note. She makes her read the note, which I was like, that's interesting. And then she starts to open the box and she goes like this, like, and I was sitting right next to her. So I immediately saw the beautiful Mrs. Claus lingerie set. It was so cute. And she just was like, oh my gosh. Thank you. Wow. And she goes, did you see all the gift? There's 4 things in there. And she was like, no, I didn't see everything. And everybody in the whole room is like, oh, what'd you get? What'd you get? Because she's laughing. Her face is red.
Yeah.
And finally she's like, oh, this is so wonderful. And then she pulls out at like the very bottom, she got her like a Coach wallet or something too. So people got to see that. So they know that she received something other than lingerie. And there's another woman that's sitting next to me that like is probably in her 60s, and she saw it because she's right next to her. She saw the lingerie and she just leans over and she's like, aw, do you have a husband?
Oh.
And she's probably the one that received the lingerie. I'd say in her early 30s. Like she's probably, early 30s is my guess. And she just laughed and she goes, no. And then she goes, oh, do you have a boyfriend? And she goes, yeah. But clearly the type of that's like, no, I have partners. Yeah. I don't have a boyfriend.
Right.
And I just feel like I keep thinking about it and just laughing because it was so funny. Do you have a husband? No. Which I'm really happy for her. She was like, I'm definitely going to wear this. And that's whenever she said, do you have a husband?
Dang.
Can you imagine being in a room of like 20 something women that you kind of know? You work together. Like you probably don't know a lot of personal things, but like a little bit of stuff.
Yeah. And
somebody gifts you sexy attire. Crazy.
I love how she just didn't want to get into it.
I would have crawled away. Like get under the table, lay down, scoop my little booty to the door, and leave.
I was scared when you said there was other things with the lingerie. I was
like... Well, I only saw the lingerie and the little wallet thing, so maybe she got her a vibrator. Maybe. She also said at some point, I'm definitely going to use this. And lingerie is something that you would say I wear.
Yeah.
So I hope there was a vibrator in there.
That's crazy if it was at the preschool.
But also, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Women empowerment. We masturbate too.
Yeah. There was a time, I used to work at Hooters for, I don't know, maybe like 7 years. And I became close with like a lot of the people there, and anytime that they would go through a breakup, I would buy them a vibrator. Just for fun. So, like, they would be, like, really upset at work one day because, you know, they've been broken up with or they've broken up with someone. And I would just buy them a vibrator and bring it to work the next day and be like, here you go.
You're the best person. That's so cool. I hope anybody that's ever received a vibrator from you.
I hope they enjoyed it.
Just have such a good life. Weird to think about somebody using a gift you've given them like that, but...
That's true. I gave Erica one whenever her and her ex-boyfriend broke up years ago, too. Mm-hmm. It was just my go-to gift.
It's such a good gift. And you're kind of a gift giver, too, like, just a little bit, so that's so appropriate.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be, like, some crazy expensive. It would be, like, a $5 vibrator from Spencer's.
Right.
But,
the sentiment is there.
Yeah. Dang, that's funny. Speaking of vibrators, when I worked at Hooters, I worked with a girl who had one that plugged into her car. Like, in the cigarette lighter.
What?
So... She said she'd get stuck in traffic and pass the time. Which is crazy.
That is crazy.
But get it, I guess.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I'm really happy for her, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I could never.
Me neither. I don't have really good tint on my car.
That was my first thought. Like, you're in traffic, so there are cars right next to you. So you're just, like, you have a blanket in your car, too? Or good tinted windows? Or
didn't ask.
You just don't care.
She might not.
That's how she got out of traffic. People were like, oh, get out of her way. Yeah. She's going through something.
She's going through it. That's so funny. We said last time we should have talked about our treadmill experience. So, collective sigh. So we have been walking at the park together. We haven't lately because it's cold outside. It's been a
long time since we have.
But that's how we began, which we talked about in the first episode. But at some point it was raining, and so we were like, "Hey, let's go get a gym membership real quick, and we can just walk on the treadmill on days that it's raining." And so we went in there. I think it was like $15 or something. Mm-hmm. And we got on the treadmill, and we had walked maybe like 10 minutes. And like there's music playing in there, and the treadmills are kind of like not right next to each other. There's a gap. And so to talk about anything, we had to talk really loud. There's other people in there and couldn't hear each other. And Courtney just goes, I hate this.
I hated it so much.
And I was like...
I hated it after 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, and I was like, well, let's just make it... What do we do, 15 minutes or something?
I feel like it was 10.
It could have been
like
10.
It was nothing.
And I was like, well, do you want to try something else? And she was like, I don't know.
The answer was no. Yeah. But I didn't want to seem like... I don't know. I didn't want to waste my money, I guess. I don't know, which I did. I never went back.
No. So then we got on the Stairmasters. There was two right next to each other. I looked at her. She said, I hate this.
I hated it so much.
And I was like, okay, should we try the bikes?
You got me to go on the bikes, too.
Yeah, we did the bikes 5 minutes.
And that was the least awful of the three to me, but still not awesome.
Yeah. And then we walked our little butts out of there. Left. And it had stopped raining at that point. So then we went to the park.
We did, yeah. And what a good day.
What a good day.
We got to the park. They also were playing music like from 2010s. Mm-hmm. Only like pop kind of radio.
Yeah.
So not great.
No.
But songs that you know, because like all the stuff that we probably listened to on the radio back then, I don't want to listen to it now.
No. And I think, most people, when they go to the gym, they have, like, headphones in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just expected we'd be able to talk to each other.
Yeah.
I fully thought, like, okay, there'll be music going. Other people will be making noise. We will be able to make noise together and have our own conversation. But instead, it seemed like we were the only people that were talking.
Yeah.
The music wasn't loud enough.
Yeah. But also too loud at the same time.
And then the machines were loud.
Yeah. So.
And, yeah. So it was just a silent 10-minute walk-ish on the treadmill. And then you were really good at the Stairmaster thing. I was so out of breath so quick. I don't know what it is about, like, that type of muscle, like, going up, but that kicks my butt. I can't do that type of cardio.
It definitely kicks my butt when I do it, but
Your willpower is insane.
it, like, my heart rate is at, like, 185 the whole time, and I'm sweating. My lungs hurt from breathing, but I feel accomplished after I'm done.
Yeah.
I can do about 30 minutes. One day, I had a lot of energy. I must have I had a good breakfast that day or something. I did 40 minutes.
I thought you were about to say, I must have just masturbated. Sorry.
Could have been. I don't know. I almost said I must have been in my something phase.
Oh, yeah.
What's the phase?
What's that one?
Luteal's the bad one.
Follicular?
Follicular,
maybe. I don't know.
Ovulation
Ovulation's supposed to be a good phase, right?
Maybe I was ovulating.
I don't know.
Are you hungrier when you're ovulating? Or is that just on your period?
I have no idea.
Well, last night let's get into that. I was making dinner last night. I made potato soup and I had some bread that I was, toasting along with it. It was like a rosemary loaf. And so I was really hungry while I was cooking it. And I was like, I'm just going to have a little slice of this bread with some butter.
Mm-hmm.
So I sliced a piece off and I put it in the toaster and it came out and I slathered salted butter on it. It was so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I was healed.
Immediately texted me.
Have
you just had a slice of bread with butter on it lately? That text made me so happy because I know that feeling too. Mm-hmm. It's always so good.
So good.
Especially, you probably haven't made any bread lately, but like I know you've made bread before. If you make your own loaf of bread and then that first slice, it's so good.
Yeah.
Some butter on it.
So then I wanted to recreate that feeling. Followed it up with a second piece with butter. And then as the soup was cooking, I was still hungry. So then I ate some chips with like French onion dip. Just maybe 5. Just popped them in there. Ate them really quick. Didn't want to be too full for my soup. That also was accompanying more bread with butter. So then I finished cooking the soup. I had soup with my 2 pieces of toast with more butter on them. So I had 4 pieces of toast. And if you want to get real, I'm binging at this point. Like, it's not good. And then I finished my soup and I'm like, wow, I'm still hungry. Mm-hmm. So then I had a bowl of ice cream.
Yeah, you might be ovulating then. If that's what that does to you, I don't know.
I'm either ovulating or I'm like starting my period any day.
Yeah. Do you feel like you go through like ish weekly phases of like hunger or eating habits?
I think it all depends on my mentality because I am a binge eater. Like anytime I've been heavier in my life, it's because I binge eat, and I have to mentally make myself not binge. And so when I'm feeling really motivated and I'm in that, headspace, it's just like I'm ignoring the fact that I want to eat a whole bunch. I'll just make out a list of things I'm going to eat and I just make sure I eat those things for the day. And then I don't let myself have any more. But right now, I said I was going to start exercising and eating better at the beginning of December, and I didn't. And now Christmas is next week, and then it's the new year. So I'm in this mentality of I can eat whatever the fuck I want
until January 1st. Yeah.
So
I mean, you have 10 days, right?
It's 10 days. So
10 or 11 days.
I'll definitely gain some weight before then, but who cares? Chips are good, and bread and butter is good.
It's so good.
But
I think I go through, like, when I'm ovulating, whenever I'm in between ovulation and my period, when I'm on my period, like, different food cravings and different, like, eating habits, where like sometimes I'm way more hungry than I am other weeks and stuff like that.
Yeah. They say that you burn more calories on your period. So it's okay if you're hungrier, but I don't think it's enough to really justify
the
four
first-
pieces of buttered toast.
Yeah. I'm like the first few days of my period, I'm like, get away. No food. I don't want anything but maybe some chocolate, and that's it. But then I get to like that fourth day and I'm like, nom nom nom. Like I must eat everything.
Yeah.
And then I will have a day where like I eat everything in sight. And I just go through the pantry and I'm like, what snacks have I bought 7 years ago that I've never seen before, but I'm going to eat it today.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious right now. I bought some like mango. It's like a dried mango bar thing. I don't know. And mango is my favorite fruit. I think they're delicious. And it's just like a chewy mango thing. And I've been having like one every single day since I bought them, because they're really high in sugar, of course, so I can't have too many.
Yeah.
They're really delicious. And I want one right now. That's why I'm saying that.
Speaking of it. My favorite fruit.
Do you have a favorite fruit?
I think it's blueberries.
I love
That's a berry,
blueberries
though.
too.
Does that count?
Yes.
Okay.
Still a fruit.
Yeah, I think it's blueberries, but I prefer them like cooked into something.
Like a muffin or
A muffin or
pie.
something about cooking it makes it sweeter almost, or something. But that is on the freaking list. What a good segue. When I eat blueberries, I am grabbing them individually, rolling them around in my fingers, and if it's even a teeny bit smushy,
No. Okay.
I will not consume it. It has to be firm, because the firm ones taste like a blueberry, but the squishy ones taste like nothing. What is that about?
The firm ones taste a little bit more tart to me,
Yeah, maybe that's it.
and the squishy ones taste sweeter to me. And I will eat all of them the same.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that you take one individually and eat it.
Yeah.
I take two that are about the same size,
Yeah.
and I pop them on each side of my mouth so that I can have an even bite.
Oh.
With most foods that I eat, actually.
Did you on both sides?
I think that I'm wrong. I think something's wrong up there.
No.
But, okay. I think we've talked about this before, but I feel like the masses need to talk about this too. When you eat, like, so obviously you just eat one blueberry at a time. So you're not, like, grabbing a handful and eating all of them. There are people that do that just, like, whole handful in mouth consume. Same with, like, Skittles. Like, do you just eat one at a time?
One at a time.
Yeah. My brother-in-law, like, if it's the snack pack or, like, the mini pack of Skittles, I don't know what that's actually called, the whole thing in his mouth. And will eat all of the Skittles at the same time.
Whoa. I do that with Nerds. Like the little boxes of Nerds
That's
you would get.
Yeah, that's so different.
Yeah,
that's such a tiny
true.
candy.
It is tiny, yeah.
I will eat one Skittle at a time. Least favorite to most favorite color.
What's your favorite color?
Purple.
Wow. Mine's red.
Mine's like really purple and red the same. Like
Yeah.
I'll eat the green, orange, and yellow and then save the purple and red for last.
Yeah. Do you remember the Skittles gum? Do they still make that?
No. What? They had Skittles gum?
Yeah.
I missed that era.
Yeah. It was like Skittles gum. They looked just like Skittles, but it was bubble gum. And they came in like a box. Long, skinny box.
Mm-hmm.
But it still looked like the Skittles logo on there. And I would pour them all out in my hand. Separate the colors just because I wanted to put all of the red ones in my mouth and have a massive bubble gum.
Yeah.
So that I would do.
Yeah. See, that makes sense too, though. Like, you put all the red ones to have
Yeah.
the red gum.
Yeah.
Not every single flavor and color.
No.
M&M's makes more sense because it's like there aren't different flavors. So, like, putting a few in your mouth at one time. But I also just do 2 M&M's, like one on each side.
M&M's, I'm different. I prefer the mini ones,
Oh,
to be
okay.
exact. But either way, I pour a mouthful in my mouth. I put them in my cheeks, and I let them melt until they're smushy, and then I chew them all at one time.
Oh. Maybe I'd like M&M's more that way.
Yeah, you should try it.
Yeah.
Let it melt up
Because
in there.
the hard shell,
Yeah, I don't chew them immediately. There's no point.
not a big fan.
You know what I think about a lot pertaining to candy? The powdered container. It looked like a paint can. And
Yep.
the thing you ate it with was the sucker. There's a paintbrush. You dip it in there and lick it and dip it and lick it.
Yes.
I loved that candy.
Me too. It was like a baby bottle pop, but like a different form. It was better.
Better.
It was so much better.
And fun, and like Fun Dip.
Yeah.
I liked the sticks that came with Fun Dip. That was my favorite part of the Fun Dip.
I would like eat all of the Fun Dip powder with the stick and then just like savor the rest of the stick that was left at the end and just be so glad that I got a stick of sugar.
It was like chalky.
It was. Sugar chalk.
I like chalky candy.
Like, how did they put powdered sugar into a solidified form like that?
I don't know.
There was probably actual chalk in it. Like, that's what they did. And we were just eating.
That's why they don't. Well, I think they still
sell Fun Dip,
but I haven't seen the paint can thing.
Neither have I. Haven't looked, but now I'm going to start.
And I also used to love candy cigarettes.
Me too.
Those are chalky.
They were also chalky. That's the same as the Fun Dip sticks to me.
Yeah.
Like in my head,
similar,
if I can taste it. Did you know that if you look around this room right now and you think like, oh, okay, what would that feel like on my tongue? You can imagine it.
Yeah.
So like look at and think about what that would feel like on your tongue.
My mouth already know. Watering.
You're salivating at the thought of licking the mic. So for the rest of the world, look at something around you.
I like everything in here. I know what it would feel like.
I know. Isn't that such a cool thing that your brain can do?
Oh, that is really cool.
Yeah. One of my friends told me that, and I was like, now I'm going to think about things to lick all the time.
That's all I'm doing right now.
I know.
Is looking at every little tiny different texture of this microphone and thinking about what it would feel like.
And if you licked it, you would be like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Good job, brain.
Right.
You knew.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think, like PSA, don't go and lick everything around you.
Don't do that.
But like maybe the next time you eat a food, think about what it would lick like, is what I want to say.
What it would lick like.
What it would feel like on your tongue, and go about your life.
There's this little kid on TikTok, and it's called like Recess. It's this guy, and he goes around and he interviews kids.
Oh, okay.
And their parents are obviously present,
consented,
whatever,
yeah.
and consented, but he's just like this guy, and he's like talking to this one kid, and I love him. Like, if I was guaranteed to birth out this kid, I would have children. Because he's so funny, and I'll show you a video later, but recess therapy is what it's called.
Okay.
And it's gotten so big that like Chapel Roan has been on it.
Cool.
This dude's doing the damn thing. But one of the kids was like, yeah, I really like to lick metal. And then they were like, he's like, but you can't because you'll get like tetanus or something. Like, he's so funny. And then they're like, what's your favorite metal to lick?
Yeah. What a good
It's
question.
So good. That's what the licking just reminded me of. But that kid is so funny and smart and well-spoken and adorable.
How old do you think he is?
I don't know. Let's look him up real
He's
quick.
little, like...
I can't judge how old children are.
That's okay.
Recess.
Somebody said to me, this is super off topic, but while you do that, somebody said to me at work, she was sitting down, and she goes, Courtney, how tall are you? And I was like, I'm like 5'3.5" maybe. And she was like, huh, you look tall. And I just said, thank you. And then I told her about the time that we were together and you said something about our heights being the same.
Yeah.
And you are not 5'3"-ish and a half.
No.
And I looked at you and was like, no, ma'am. I am so much shorter than you.
Yeah.
Not so much, but like a few inches shorter than you.
5'6", but in my mind, I don't see height. Unless you're 6 foot tall and clearly so much taller than me, everybody's my height.
The same height, yeah.
So she said, she was like, Torrie, we're not the same height. I'm so much shorter than you. And I turned and looked at her. I was like,
oh.
Like my world was shattered.
It seemed like it had been shattered.
I was like, wow. And now I pay a little bit more attention about how tall people are. Okay,
Yeah.
This kid's name is Miles. And
Cute.
he's just so funny. I'll show you one.
Is happiness important?
No.
Whoa,
No.
why not?
Because all feelings are important.
Does it ever get so quiet that your ears feel like they can hear silence?
Yeah, I hate that. That's why I can't sleep without the TV on. If I ever find the one about the metal, I'll send it to you. But he's just like, I really like to lick metal. That kid's amazing.
And you know his mom has been like, okay, we don't lick metal.
Because
That's not safe for you. You could get sick. You
Yeah.
could get... We would have to go to the doctor and get you a shot.
Oh, last night I took a bath. And I like to take baths in the winters, especially because I can open the window so I can bake in the scalding hot water, but have cold air flowing around me. It's one of the greatest pleasures in life. And so I went to close the window and I was holding my phone like this, brand new, $900 or something. Phones are stupid expensive. And I was holding my pop socket like this and closing the window. Pop socket flies off. New phone.
Fully submerged.
But, well, first it slammed into the side of the bathtub via the corner. And then bounced into the tub, fully submerged. I grabbed it, went to the YouTube video about it, like, plays a loud noise and it vibrates all the more out of your phone. And shattered my screen protector, thankfully.
Just the protector.
And I just put this protector on 2 days ago.
Right.
Like, I procrastinated that for a long time. So, good thing. So now I need a new screen protector.
I'm sorry.
So Lainey started watching Game of Thrones. I don't know, after we finished watching House of the Dragon together.
Okay. So she's rewatching all of it?
She's never seen it.
She watched House of Dragon before she's watched Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Okay.
Because she had never seen it, and at that point, she was coming over every Sunday, so then every Sunday we would watch House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Season 2. So she had
not
to catch
even
up.
season 1.
She watched season 1 on her own.
Okay.
She caught up, so then we started watching it. And so then she was like, wow, that is so good. And I was like, you think that's good? You need to go watch Game of Thrones. Because there's so much more. It's finished, It's amazing. And she started watching it. I don't know how some of these people do it. Y'all watch TV hella slow. I'm consuming 18 hours of TV a day if I want to.
No, you're not.
Not really. But at least 4 episodes a day sometimes. Because I'm, especially if it's a good show like that I've never seen before, I'm binging it. She's been piddling. It's when Ned Stark got his head cut off. Spoilers.
Spoiler.
When Ned Stark got his head cut off, she stopped watching for a minute. We've all been there.
Yeah.
It's hard to accept for a second.
Then you get so much further and so many more people die.
Oof. So I told her she had to wait when she got to season 3, episode 9. I wanted to watch it together.
Okay.
And for real spoilers, if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, skip ahead maybe. That is the Red Wedding.
Okay.
Yeah. And she has been talking all up to this point about how much she loves Rob. She was talking about how just hot Rob is.
Yeah.
The man that he is. Best king ever. Loved him so much. And I was like, oh yeah. They're so cute together. Love him so much.
Oh.
And so we watched that episode the other night together. So I got to relive that through her. Because when I first saw it, I stopped watching at that point for a hot minute. Because that hurt my feelings. She was sitting over there on the couch. Things started escalating. Her hands went to her head.
Right.
And she stayed like this the whole time.
I bet.
And she was like, why would I even watch this show anymore?
Oh.
Like, that's the only person I cared about, basically. And I was like, yeah, you think that, but...
Yeah.
She was like, I do love John. And I'm like, exactly. Latch on
There's
to John.
more.
And I was trying to hype her up and be like, no, that was really bad. And I know you hated it. But the revenge...
Yeah.
That is rained down upon the phrase it's so worth the watch. And she was like, okay.
It
But man, that's a brutal one. And I told her, I was like, I think that's the worst episode.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, worse in terms of
So fucked up.
so hard to watch because they kill so many main characters in the span of 5 minutes. But that was amazing.
Oh, man. You should have invited me.
I should have.
I would have done this with her. I have seen it, but it's always daunting and surprising.
I think I watched it through the first time, and I think my second rewatch, I skipped that episode. Or at least skipped that part, because I was like...
Yeah, that's something that you can do, where, like, you can skip through something and move on, because you already know what happens. I can't skip it. Like, I have to watch through something, whether I hate it or not.
If I've already seen it, I just skip
That's
it.
okay.
I don't like it. Like, my rewatches of The Walking Dead, certain people that come on the screen, I'm just like, oh, shut the fuck up. And I'll fast forward through them because they're an idiot. It just depends on my mood.
If you're willing.
If I'm willing to, like, put up with
I can tolerate them today.
Yeah. But I rewatch it now. Like, I don't skip anything in Game of Thrones anymore because I'm so desensitized to the violence, I think, because...
It's so much.
The Walking Dead, if you want to be desensitized to, gruesome violence and gore, make yourself watch that show because it is nasty sometimes. And before I watched it, I was, like, watching the first episode for the first time. I was like, oh, God. I can't watch this. Like, I'll never be able to get through it. And at some point, I just got through it. I do skip one scene in The Walking Dead. I've never seen it one time. I skipped it the first time, and I've never watched it because I know exactly what happens. And it's one of my favorite characters, like, gets his head bashed in with a baseball bat and, like, is yelling out his wife's name and stuff. And, like, I love him so much. And I was like, no, it's enough for me to know that he's not there anymore. And so I skipped his death.
Move on. Yeah. I did try to watch The Walking Dead at some point, but I can't. I have nightmares. I have such vivid dreams. I could not do that.
Aaron can't watch it either. He has nightmares. Like zombie nightmares. I don't really have nightmares based off what I've watched. I have random nightmares created in my own mind.
Sometimes mine are really random, but sometimes it's very, like, revolved around what I'm going through right now, like what's happening today.
Yeah.
Like, I might dream about a podcast tonight.
You might.
I don't know. I'll let you know. Talk about it on the next pod.
Hopefully dream about it popping off.
About our merch.
Call her daddy. Pick us up. So yeah, this is the book we're doing for book club. So if you want to follow along and read with us, we're going to be doing a whole episode talking about it, dissecting it. I think that's all we have for you today. And we'll see y'all next week.
Woohoo.